continue on with our previous project that we were working on, which is the convention website using WordPress as your theme. So let me just double check here, make sure. I'm pretty sure my audio is set correctly this time around, so should only have about 25% on my music, 86% on my microphone, so you should be able to hear me okay this time around. All right, so what we were going to do today, continue on what we were doing before. So previously what we were working on was the events side. And with events, what you are doing is showing off the ability to add in your event hosts to your actual event. So here we have the event listing, dates and times, and even though we haven't themed it out a whole lot, we now also have your guests of honor that are listed in future broadcasts. We will go through actually doing theming both within the plugin side as well as if we were to do a custom theme, how do we even further fine tweak it? So the next question is going to be, well, what do we do when it comes to a hosts page and being able to get the host part set up? So if you're on your host page, what do you do in order to get the events? So what we are going to do here is go back over to the coding side, back on the live stream tutorials. If you go here, what I have is a basic WordPress stack, and under templates is where we have everything set up. So if we go here, we go to single, we go to events, we'll be able to see everything we've done so far. And then if we go over to for instance, either partners or guests, we'll start with one and then work with the other. This is where we are going to go through and make those changes in order to add in their events. So we'll get that part as the next item. So if we go through, scroll here on the event side, you're able to see exactly what I have done in order to clean this up a bit. So we're going to do the same thing on the host side, and for us to be able to test this, what I'm going to do, let me just double check that I do host or partners. I'm just going to go ahead, pull up our partner listing, and we will be able to take a look at that. I'll just pop this back up over here so I'm able to see it. All right, so what we are going to do is, this is our partner host company. So what we are going to do is add them in, or update the information here. So as you can see, we don't have our picture here on this page, so we're going to want to get that updated. So first things first, we're going to use a lot of the code we used yesterday on the event side in order to add that in. So we go through where it says while have posts, we're going to globalize the post variable. We are actually going elsewhere for this part, so we don't need all of this stuff. We just need to make sure that it's taken care of. And instead of end while, what we are going to do is do a closed bracket because of everything we're doing. Personally, what I like to do for commenting is use the actual thing we're focusing on, so we're able to see what's happening. And then what I am going to do is get rid of this. And hello to those of you who are joining us right now. Feel free to ask questions. Look at the show notes. It's going to give you a bit more when it comes to the project. So we have that part taken care of. What we're going to do is add in a couple of pieces. So this is all from before on our event. I'm just going to put this into the partners information. Hosts do not have event date or event host, so we're going to get that part handled. Let me just check to make sure that is the correct field name here. So what we're using is advanced custom fields in order to set up the fields for our custom post types. So I'm just going to double check to make sure I did name it correctly. Profile photo. There we go. Okay, so what we are going to do here . Okay, so if we get this all set up correctly, what this is going to do is add in everything we need. So leader, name of the partner. What did I do? Oh, okay, that was it. And then last but not least, what we are going to want to do is add in, instead of the host data, the event data. Hold on. And for this, I think I already have this set up in here. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. We're going to go ahead and refresh this. That's not blank. Here we go. Host to get events, and that is what we did. All right. So we have this, and what we can do is debug along the way just to see what exactly happens. And what this is going to give you is that query object if everything is set up correctly. Oh, yeah, what I am building is a plugin for a conference website. This is actually a stock photo. So what we are doing is a convention website, and part of that is the ability to also add in, with the convention website, the ability to add in, how to put it, like for instance, tickets, guests of honor, partner sponsor, so on and so forth. So it looks like in me getting this all set up, everything works fine on my event page. I just did something that I wasn't supposed to on this one. I'm guessing I closed something a little early. Let's see what I did here. Yep, it is. I actually built this out originally back, I would say, in about June or July for someone who gave me tickets to an event. And I've decided, hey, might as well just build this out so others can use this for their own projects, their own sites. Let me just go take a look at what I may have broken here. And then end goal is also for those who want to sponsor me and sponsor these videos to be able to get access to the code that is involved. Okay, I see what I did here. Bar dump is not going to work on this part. Don't really need to debug it. I've already done this before, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue onward. So this was all set up. This should be an array object. So what we are going to do is build this out. And then what we'll do here, just so I can remember later on in case this gets to be cumbersome. And then what we can do here is take a look at some of the fields. Depends on what my schedule looks like. Friday night and yesterday and today I was able to do it daily. I do have a day job, so that's going to cramp into my time to be able to run this. So I am planning on getting a more regular schedule, which will be posted online here, as well as on my Patreon account and on my website. All right. We'll be starting actually with WordPress, and then I'll be doing events or projects in Drupal, as well as Laravel, Drupal being another content management system. So that's everything but the kitchen sink, whereas Laravel is you get the kitchen sink because you're basically building everything from scratch. It's a pretty awesome platform for doing different things. So we're starting simple and then going into some more advanced stuff as we go along video wise. Let me go see if this gets the result that I'm looking for, and it doesn't. So I think it just does not like to use that as a debugging method right now. Alright, so let's go take a look at what is it that I want to show off. This will probably be this part. So what we're going to do is just take this info here. I'm going to call this event image so people can keep track later on when they look at this code later. Alright, so in theory, this should work. Oh, okay, we get rid of that. So something is going on when I try to even work with this. So one of the tricks you learn is being able to see what exactly is happening. So what we are going to do is see what broke. Alright, so it's not passing anything. Alright, so we made a newbie mistake here. So let me take a look at... So global post. Let me see what I did for the other one. Global post, post... Oh. It's capital letter, or capital letters. So that's the first part as it passes through. Now it works. So it's giving me an array. So that part works. See what I had different. So that's a new WP query. Okay, so this is a different format. This is actually an array versus the other one, which was just getting the posts. Got it. So in that case, if so what we are going to do is temporarily get rid of this. There we go. That was what broke. So we can now fix this. So we don't need to do that part. Okay, so we got the special event to pop up, just not the image. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do there is add this in, because that is an argument that you occasionally have to use depending on how you have everything set up here. So if you've initialized like over here on this side where we went through and used we used a function or query to get the posts, or WP query like that, this is going to have it where when you have to basically go through and unpack everything, which is why we had to go and say this is have posts, extract them out, and why we did not need a secondary argument on this command. But it's a little bit different here, and I don't know why I originally developed it like that, but it is what it is. I might go back later on and fix it. Otherwise, you now have two different examples of how to go about building those queries. So we have this taken care of. If I save this, this should now work. And there you go. So this is all cool and stuff. I can go ahead and also add in on this the ability for us to put the full post. So let me double check here. What did I do on the event side? No, I just put that in the host name. So what we can possibly do, because if we go through here on the special event and we go to the special event page, let me go show you that that looks like. Oh, that's, here we go. So what could happen is we don't want to have it where we have the full bio or the full event description listed there. So what I would probably look at is us now adding in a smaller bio or a smaller caption that we can use here. So once I get this cleaned up and actually get a link, then we can go ahead and do that. So guest of honor and partner company are not links. And the question is, well, how do you get a permanent link for a post? Get permanent. I think I got this correct. And what I would do is, if you're ever building this stuff on your own, go ahead and actually have this open in a separate window, type out words, and it can help you figure it out. All right, so we have this. So what we can do is, if we go back to our event page, we have host name. What I would probably do is now, in theory, this should work. Let's go take a look here and see if this does work. Yep, so these are now links to the host. or to the event. And so we now have this special event, get permalink. Oh, this goes to special event. This does not go. Oh, for the current post. Okay, we don't want current. We want. That's not it either. For a post of a custom post type. So get post permalink. That's what we want. Let's try one more time before we try to look into something else. There we go. So that's not right either. So let's see which one. Is correct. Get the silly friends on a boat. Okay, so oh. Sometimes you have to make sure you type in things correctly. It's still not working. Oh, the event host image, event host ID. Alright, that is not working. So let's try Google for this. There. Okay. Aha. All right, let's try this. And they were saying get permalink and then ID. So we gotta make sure. Oh. So what we are going to do is get that if we're within a while link. What was it called? The permalink. Okay. And we are going to cross our fingers that this works. There we go, we figured it out. If you're within a while loop, do not deal with anything else except the permalink. And that takes us over to here, where we have guest of honor. And we were actually working with partner company, and we'll be able to work with guest of honor in a moment. So guest of honor or partner company, we go through, we have our special events, and now we can go ahead. What I would do here is hosted events. If that's not empty, then I would do to actually do hosted, not featured. So we have that. And then what we would want to do is, since this is not in a while loop, then what we would do here is what we were looking at before. Which is get permalink and then the ID number. Alright, so I think I have everything set up correctly. And so this should now link back to the special event. And this now has it where you can link to your hosts. So now that we have this all figured out for the convention partner, what we can actually do is go to the guest of honor content type and add that in as well. So let's take a look here. So I'll have posts. This is almost all the same. Okay, and we're just going to indent all this stuff. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and add that in and make sure. We'll clean up the code a little bit later when I get to getting this saved and set elsewhere. Alright, so we go through, we have everything set up. And if we go over to our guest of honor, their info is now available as well, and along with the events that they are hosting. And they are actually hosting 2 events. One is a special event and one is what we call an included event for everything. So that is the high level framework of what we're trying to do. So let's actually start building this out a little bit more functionality wise. So the first thing is we want to go through and on the custom field types, I would say under the partner and guest of honor bio, what I would want to do is have a short description. So I'm going to go add a new field. And then I would say keep this to about 75 characters. And if needed, we can find a way to validate this. So we'll go through character limit 75. So we have that set. So what we can now do is go into here. If we want to edit this post, if we want to edit the guest of honor post, we can. Excuse me. Headline, description. Alright, so we have this and got this taken care of. And if we really wanted to, what we can do is add in headline text as well. And that's where headline description is going to come in. Alright, so we went through, we're going to go back up here, so profile photo, host title, and alright, what was this called again? Headline description, got it. Alright, so if we go back here, we go take a look at both of them. We have the picture, partner company, we have their headline, and you can always go through, use a span, use something else, class, and also style it up so you can make this look a lot cooler if you wanted to. So we're going to go through and we have this all laid out. Hosted events are listed here. We have our guest of honor. You can always go through and change that as well. They're really excited to be here and gives their thing, and then we got the hosted events. Now there's a couple of things we can do with the hosted event area in order to provide more information. What I would probably look at to start off with is if you've seen the event pages, there's a couple of things we can do. So we can actually do a headline for them as well. What we can also look at is adding in the date and time, and then also if they are a premier event, going through and adding that in. So we're going to go back to our field groups here for custom fields. We're going to go, and I would say go back over to your event area. And then so if we go through character limit of 75, we actually don't need that here. And we are going to save this. So if I go to special event, edit this, has all our teaser text here. Date, time, we went through this before, how do you do the little host event or hosts here and select them, special event, and meet all the, and we're going to put the description here out and say meet all the unicorns. since this is a special event, this is what we would do here. And we're going to also alter the included event as well. And the whole idea is just having some dummy text that you can play around with that you can then add in if needed. So we have all this taken care of. What we are now going to do is add in some of that data into our host and get our sponsor and our guest pages. So what we're going to do here is take a look. So we got the image, we got the host name. We have it where that is closed off. What I'm going to do is add a few more items. Oh, this is the event side. Let me go to the guest side. So we got this, we have the headline description. And what we will do is okay. We actually built a function for this to get the date and time. Oh, we've already gotten that. Let's take a look here. Oh, I put this in the wrong spot. Alright, so this is, we want this in the event area. There we go. So we got the event title, and we put this here. Okay, so let's take a look here. Now, what was the name of the field? Actually, what I'll do is if what we are going to do is just double check to make sure this is not an empty field first. Get rid of some of that white space. All right, and what did we call it? Event headline. Okay, let's take a look here. So in theory, this should have everything. And this is under Guest of Honor. And I broke it. So let's take a look at what I may have broke. We'll get rid of this first. Alright, so it was what I did here that broke things. So we're going to go ahead. If I accidentally zoom it, nope. If not empty, get field. Then we want to have this over here. That still breaks it. So if get field, and get field has this and this. Let's see if this does it. Okay, we're missing one more. There we go. Then if I add this back in, it should work. There we go, hosted events. And now we have everything all set up here. So we have this all handled. What I would probably do at this point is add in something to encase everything. So we have that here and then all the way at the bottom. And what that is going to do is if we ever want to go through on these pages and work with formatting, work with styling, say let's make this 50% and make it float left. Let me go and show you an example here. Actually, what we can do is we can go through and add in a style sheet. So what I'm going to do here is go in, create an includes. Just before we do some research. Whoops. All right. This is where it gets to be fun. So there's a couple of things they are asking for. And then what you would want to do is build a function. So what you're going to do here is create that. Next. Alright, so let's walk through what they are telling us to do. So if we go through here, let's take a look. That was the other one. Let's go here. So WP and we'll go through and walk through exactly what they are doing. So what they are telling us to do is to use this. And if you're not familiar with how this works, then what we can do is go to wordpress.org and it'll walk us through that. Whoops. We want this. We don't want to click the download the WordPress. Couple of functions there that you may not be familiar with. The other one is plugins URL, and then what exactly does that mean? What's that function supposed to be? So as you can see here under this function, it gives you a couple different arguments you're going to want to take a look at. And then under plugin, it is retrieves the absolute URL of the plugins or MU directory. So what we're going to want to do is go back over here. So what this is saying is what we want is this area. So we actually named it includes theming. And what this is basically saying is anchor us here. So we're going to do initial CSS. That's what we'll call this. And then if we go here, what we can do is add in this. An initial CSS, or I'll call it custom post CSS. And we'll save. Well, last but not least, what you want to do is initialize. And add action. This is what we actually want, is so we're going to go ahead and register this. Oh, they weren't. They're doing two separate functions. Okay, that's fine. And what we will do init and here. There they go. I'm just going to do it this way. Just make this, there we go. Hopefully I'll make it still within the screen here. And we will get this. If we follow along with what they're saying. Now, in theory, this should all work. So what I am going to do next is go here, refresh, and then we are going to look at some of the source code just to make absolutely sure that this is working. The source HTML, I mean. Well, there's no alert here, so what we are going to do is I called this theming.css. So we are going to look for that in the code here. So Control F, theming.css. So congratulations, we got this all taken care of. So we can actually start playing around with styling this if we wanted to. So if we went back here, and this is under Guests of Honor, when we had this set up for the events, we did hosted event. So what we can do here is actually build that out. What I would probably do is actually do a wrapper around everything else as well. So there we go. Encapsulate everything. We go through. Once the for each area is done, we close it out. Go to Guest of Honor. Make sure this didn't break anything. Okay, so now that we have this all taken care of, what we can do is a couple of different things as well. So we're going to go grab theming. What did I call this? I think it was we're going to do this here. And then we're going to do and then what we are going to do here is let's see here. Bin width 200px. No. What did I do? Nope, I did not want that. Alright, so we have this all set up. We're going to go to guest of honor. So this all works. Next thing we're going to want to do is go and add in one more piece. So this looks like it's a good starting point. We can do a little bit more to clean this up if we wanted to. So for instance, let's take a look at what did we build out here. So there's a few things that we can handle within here to make this a little bit easier to read, because right now everything is cluttered. Again, if you have a debugger, this will help you out on your browser. This will help out in figuring out what you want to do. Let's say we want to do padding. That spreads bit. That does cause a little bit of spacing. Let's actually try this about 10px. What you can do is, if you want to see this be universal, I would go and pick one of these. So we would have that, and then if we wanted to, one of the other things we can do is there's a couple of things where we added classes. So what I would do here, event date time. So we'll go back over here and we'll do padding. So if we did that, we went back to guest of honor and we refreshed this, then what's going to do is it shrinks it out. And then we can do other things as well. So this goes through and walks through how we created this part. Now there's one other thing we can do here as well. And what I would take a look at is back on this, we had special event. So what I would do is back on our guest of honor page, what I would take a look at is if this was a special event. So we got this, the headline. What we would then do is this a special event? And if so, actually we don't need that part. Okay, so if we go ahead and save that, go back to our guest of honor. Hopefully it didn't break it. Yep. So what we would then do is event special alert. So we have this all handled. And let me take a look and see if this works. Nope, I have to actually... This has to be a block as well. And if you use display block, then that is going to break it out a little bit more. Alright, font color. Oh, that's why. Alright, let's see if we got this to finally work. Hold on. Aha. There. We did not have to put quotes on it. That's what I get for trying to do things that I haven't touched in a while. So we can do a whole lot with this in order to get this up and going. Honestly, this is squishing a lot of the details. I'm a big fan of us just going through and saying, if we're at 50%, we keep it that way indefinitely. We can find other things we can do at the 900px mark. So we'll go back. And this should look a little bit cleaner now. So this is one of the things we can do. And then if we shrink it, whoops, other way. If we shrink this down to a certain point, not sure why this is doing it. I can take a look later. There we go. So let's say you had a mobile device. This is what it would look like on your mobile. So you got everything taken care of, and then as we break it out, it is now showing it in columns. Since we were looking at special events on here, let's go back to our actual event posts. So first thing, let's go through and take everything we did before for the guest of honor under hosted events. If hosted event. And I'm going to save that over to the partner side so I don't have to redo everything again. And in theory, it should work. So now what we can do is under the events, we're done with partners for now, we're done with guest of honors for now. What we can do here is under convention event. So we have on these pages, we have the image, we have the details, we have your guest of honor. So we're going to do two things next. We're going to go through on guest of honor side, add in a little bit more formatting, and then we're going to we're going to go ahead and add in the special event alert, which will cue into the tickets a little bit later. Hello there, how are you doing today? Okay, so we have div class event host. What I would probably do here is cool. Oh, where are you at? It's only about 4 o'clock over here. Oh wow, you're in France? Cool. Alright, so we have this wrapper taken care of, and then what we can do is we have event host. And I think we got event host name on the events here. So what we can do is go back over, we'll first do this and then do some cleanup. There's like 5 or 6 things I want to do at once here. Alright, so we went through, we added the content, and then what I will do is alright, got that. And we'll go through and add this in. So we'll div this out. Yeah, it's from scratch. So back a couple months ago, I built this out for someone else as a project, but everything I did was so customized that I didn't want to just release it into the public that way. So what I'm doing is rebuilding what I did before, with the end goal is to be able to release the source code out to my patrons. And I do have a Patreon page. It is listed on the website, or on the show notes. This is actually going to go out to everyone. My future projects are going to have it where source code goes out to just those who are my ongoing patrons. So I have a blog. I have a whole bunch of other stuff that I want to do. So this is more just to show here's some example work, and then if people want to continue to support me, then there's ways that they can do that. All right. And I accidentally dropped that down, so we're going to go ahead here. Fortunately, if you do like turns, it's not going to still be the same line here. And once we have a ticket page, we'll actually go through and run a little bit more details. So H3. You can customize this however you want on your theming. So in theory, this should, on the include event, not show up. And it doesn't. And in theory, it should show up on the special event. There you go. So we have this here. And we can do additional theming if we want. And now let's go back and actually deal with this to make this a little prettier. So I think that what I did before is going to work on what I did before for the events and hosts. We'll just use here. so let's take a look here. Event host wrapper. And then we called this event host. Alright, so if we go back here and refresh. So we have everything here. It's going through. We don't have the host's headline info. So what we'll do is go back to, here it is, headline description. Okay. I have to go have some fun. Yep, I will, and rest well. Okay, let's take a look here. We're up at what we have. So if we go through, and this is on events. Overly excited to be here. So something is up that this is off to the side. Oh, rookie mistake. There we go. So in theory, this should now work. So there we go. So we've gotten a lot done in the past few hours of just putzing around. So what we've done so far on this, if we go back to the dashboard, is we've created a couple of different content types: the partners and sponsors, your guests of honor, the events, which we've touched upon. And then last but not least are the different tickets that the people can now register for. So that is where we are at currently. In the next video for this series, what we're going to do is actually delve a bit more onto that ticket content type, fleshing that out, and then building that relationship between the tickets and the special events that are here. And then one other thing we're going to do is actually build out an admin panel so that when we start doing archive page work, that we can have it where the end user of this can customize what information or what headlines are on the archive pages. So that is it for today. Thank you all for those who have attended. If you have not done so, follow me on my page here. I do have links in the show notes to things like my Twitter and Facebook account. Also a little bit more about my a project and what we're doing here. And if you want to support what I do have a Patreon page. So it goes through a little bit more about the shows that I want to create, and then also some of the incentives for those who do want to help sponsor my work. So again, thank you very much for everyone who's attended today. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, look forward to making more videos for you down the road.